document our adventure. There was a car in front of your garage.
Oh, that's probably Jack and Pat then.
You still want to go here?
We better not. We got to go back. Let's drive right around and just unload what's in here and then go in. Oh, we can't get in. We have to go back this time.
All right.
So let's just turn around.
Okay.
Now see, this one we want. These two we can empty.
What?
Those two things there, all that plastic.
Yes. So, as a psychiatrist, are emotions just chemicals in the brain, or do they have special meanings?
Different people have different ideas. And we know that when you have emotions, there are changes in the brain. Which comes first? But you have to, for instance, like if you're walking along and you see a very poisonous snake, your forebrain accumulates that, sees that knowledge, and then to the midbrain, that's deadly, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
And then there's different courses of action. What do? Do you freeze? Do you step backwards? Or, or do you just run? Or pick the snake up and eat it instead of now, you all kind of tell it, was it all soft? The road?
Yeah. It's all muddy. Yeah, it's interesting, man. So no one actually knows for sure.
Yes. How it. For instance, they do know, like, you see the snake, then adrenaline is released in your bloodstream, goes all through your body, and your eyes dilate, and your heart beats faster. Yeah, all right, I'll give it. I don't know, I'll tell you, you take her down to the Red House and see what she can bring back.
All right.
That'll get rid of some good stuff.
And, okay, I'll get stuff, then I'll park here and wait for you.
Yep.
I'll look around.
Mostly small stuff.
Okay.
If there is any left.
All right.
Or maybe the mirrors could come up.
I brought most of them. All right. There's a broken mirror that we can put in the dumpster.
Okay.
All right. We're back. So that was your secretary, your nurse, right?
Yeah. Mrs. Freyd. Or if you pronounce it the Portuguese way, it's Frada.
So Dick cursed me a blue streak.
Yeah, that's a shame. I wish you'd learn not to do it. And then he repents. He's really very soft-hearted inside.
Yeah.
But he grew up with his father as a role model, and the father used to swear a blue streak and, act tough.
Yeah.
But Dick's... Now, is our fence torn down at all? No.
Just a little bent.
See, Dick has great difficulty reading and writing, so but he's very skilled in woodwork and keeping his heavy machinery done, which he learned to do himself.
Yes.
So he's got a lot of talent. Trouble is, when he went to school, they didn't have any analysis stuff here was together. How about that part of the chair? It's still too much, right?
Well, we've got this stuff back here.
So let's unload that.
And we'll check to see how the dumpster looks. He's not around today. But he says it's okay.
Yeah, I know.
It's just that even if he says it's okay, he'll still pretend like he's mad.
Yeah.
So how come I like you so much?
Because I don't swear, or I do swear sometimes, I guess.
You rarely swear. But Dick, when he swears, he comes across as hostile.
Yeah.
You're always friendly.
Well, this is rough work doing this logging.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it. I think he's probably tired of it by now.
Wow.
Oh dear. I see what he meant.
Yeah.
I guess we better just leave it.
Okay.
Oh, we can put the glass in.
Okay. Yeah, that glass is dangerous. Just wedge it in.
I wonder where all that came from.
I wonder if he put that in there.
Probably did.
Much stuff in his dumpster though.
No.
Compared to, I mean, every week that stuff there is nothing.
There are about a dozen people that do it. If Dick wanted to settle it, he could put a sign. Do not use dumpster without consulting Dick. But Dick just gets mad at everyone and screams and swears at them, and then he says, well, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And he says okay.
Yeah. That's his nature.
What do they call that? When if you're a parent, you tell a kid, no, 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 and they keep whining, and then you give it to them.
Well, that's not really keeping control of the situation.
So these guys are going after all the parts on this truck.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So do you remember in 74, or 73, 74, the gasoline embargo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, OPEC.
What was your take on it?
Well, it didn't bother me because I don't drive that much. But our whole economy depends on oil.
Yes.
Gasoline.
That was a question on one of my economics tests.
Let's stop here and we'll
unload or reload. That's good, just a short little adventure. Now it's making a noticeable difference.
Yep.
The volume is down.
Well, of course, once we empty the sheds, then we've got to figure out what to put in them.
Yes. We'll have to start collecting, what, sellable We have to find what the market is looking for. Computers. We used to have a lot of computers. In that trailer that you had.
Yeah. They all went in dumpsters.
That lady that lives up where I took the fence down, I think she was the lady that walked through here. At one time when Jeannie said she saw somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Four-wheel drive.
Well, where does she live?
Right up there where I took
On the hill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, these wheel ruts are gonna be
Deeper and
2 feet
deeper.
deep. So what happens when people come to your door, the Jehovah's Witnesses, stuff like that? They don't know who they're in for.
Well, I was very nice to them and talked to them and let them explain. And then I think they marked the house because they keep coming back.
Oh.
And then one time I told them that, I wasn't really a religious person.
Yes.
And so I guess they took me off the list.
Now, even though you're not religious, you're better than most people. You claim to be religious.
Well, I don't know who would say that. It's better that you get some textbooks of psychoanalysis. I have some old ones I can give you. They're probably okay.
What we learned about last week was we did dreams, hypnosis, meditation, and drugs. How they alter states of consciousness.
Boy, that's a handful. We'll stop up here for our free rider.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know the origin of it. I think it goes back to Latin, but it represents the part of our mind that is unconscious, that we really don't know it's there, but it influences us.
All the primal drives.
Yes.
Sue, come! Kennel up!
Good girl. Okay, make room for Will. Don't lick Will.
With a four-wheel drive.
Yep.
I don't want to go too fast up this.
So I put in to, have a driveway entrance.
Yes.
And I could see that Mr. Kona, the engineer, didn't want to do it. So he said, it's perfectly legal to drive over the curb. So I think we'll save some money since we only go once a week.
Yeah.
And just drive over the curb.
Maybe we could put a ramp there.
Well, I asked him about that, and he disagreed. Are you in the four-wheel now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Want me to go straight up?
No, we turn right and go straight up and turn right.
All right. I should have went up from that side.
Yeah, okay, we'll back up a little.
As long as I'm here, why don't I just go straight and come down the other way?
All right.
I don't. It's got a lot of weight on
I don't want to get in trouble with this
it.
neighbor.
All right, let's see if I can make it. I don't want you to jump and fall off. There we go.
That's fine.
Wow, that was a workout for the transmission.
Now watch the curb.
Okay.
I asked him about going over the curb, and he said you can do that with the truck. And I asked about putting a ramp, on the curb. No, you can't do that. And if you have a driveway, it's too complicated. So anyway, it'll save us money.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
So now, when we were at Dudley's last time, what was that? The tire was about to explode.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe he was confused about your letter.
He may not have received it because I just sent it on the 20th. The land use officer has already called me about it. That's Betty Brocius.
So she found out he was there.
She didn't know that it was Dudley. She just said there are a lot of trucks and things there.
Wow. I wonder how she found out.
Probably from the first selectman, who I imagine, but I'm not sure, wants to let me know that if I put in a driveway next to her house, I would suffer consequences.
Yes.
And I felt that Kona had been told that if I asked for a driveway, I would give me a hard time. But anyway, there's no use getting into a fighting match with somebody. If they do you an ill deed, it doesn't help to do an ill deed back.
No.
But I am entitled to survey the boundary line and let her know that she's been encroaching on the property for a long time without permission.
Yes.
So anyway, it represents the, I guess, the primitive patterns in the brain and the primitive circuits which go back to hundreds of years when we were Stone Age people, or even when we were cannibals. And it's not conscious to our ego.
It's all this hunger, thirst.
Yep. Sex and aggression.
Now, human beings are aggressive creatures.
Yes.
It's a shame when all these religious people talk about good versus evil, but everyone is bad and good at the same time. It just depends what situation you find yourself in.
Yeah, and part of life is trying to become more good and less evil. For instance, if you carry it to an extreme, we would stop exploiting animals the way we do.
Yes.
We wouldn't exploit cows to get pregnant, have a calf, slaughter the calf, and then drink the cow's milk. If you put a human being in the place of the cow, you'd see how terrible that would be.
Yes.
So there's something for being a vegetarian. And then, of course, war, if you really look back on war, it's always a great mistake. Even though, let's say, World War II was probably a necessary war to fight Hitler. But I've been a conscientious objector.
Yes.
I didn't mind serving in the army. I think we owe allegiance to our country. But if you look at war, it's basically competitive sports to the highest degree.
That's right.
In other words, you have competition, who can run the fastest and do this and that.
Yes.
And you have all the games where the ball represents actually a game. You know, it represents like a rabbit or a woodchuck, and the aggressive drive is unleashed on it.
Yes.
But when you go to war, you unleash it on an enemy who temporarily becomes an evil, bad person.
Yes.
And 30 years later, the person is recognized again as a human being.
Yes.
So, I would advise you at this stage to establish conscientious objector credentials. It's one of our freedoms that you're entitled to, just as you're entitled to faith. You can have faith in being a conscientious objector, but that doesn't mean you refuse any allegiance to the country. I hope with this present thing with President Bush, he doesn't go overboard on this evil.
I know. He already is starting to do that.
Yeah. Now, he's basically an average person. And by his own admission, he wasted 40 years of his life drinking and partying.
Yes.
And not reading. Now, at this stage, for instance, he goes to countries that I've been to long ago, and he should have gone to as a private citizen.
Yes.
So he doesn't come to China and experience it for the first time. And I think his reading has been, very minimal.
Yes. But I think he's making all those countries out to be evil, that he's evil too. The stuff that, well, not him, maybe our government, the things that we do in herbicide fields in South America, kill all the people. The Middle East hates us for some reason. They're not hating us for no reason.
Well, the Middle East has a society based on Islam, and if you see the pictures of the million people around the religious stone in Mecca,
yes, I see.
And just think of over 1 million make this trek every year, and so it's a strong factor.
Yes.
And unfortunately, in the Middle East, Islam and the government are the same.
Yes.
In other words, the leaders they carry out their religious edicts. And what happened with the Taliban is that they happen to have real crazy, insane religious edicts which they impose on the people. And if they felt that as students of God they had the true knowledge, because they went back to the Sharia, which was the original. It'd be like us going back to the Old Testament, where it's really bloody if you read it.
Yes. We'll continue the discussion. There's a truckload.
Yes, I can.
So we've got to get a big load and get rid of it before they start charging. I don't understand. We pay the permit, and then you pay to dump junk.
And then the guys that work here want more pay, so one way is to charge. Here's newspapers.
Yes. I'll just park here. You've seen the day that the dump goes down the hill. The only thing worth having the permit for is dump newspapers. When you can, who needs to dump newspapers? You can just burn them in a fireplace.
That's in the house. You could burn them. Outside it's illegal. But watch out for that little doggy.
Now that girl isn't smart because the dog cut her foot. There's broken glass everywhere.
Yep.
So, wow, you already put our stuff on the dumpster.
Yep.
When do you think we'll have to make a few runs this week? They're going to start charging soon.
I don't think we have that much stuff. We'll just gradually feed it into Dick's dumpster until that runs out. But it is a shame. New York City had a big effort to separate, newspapers, recycle, and Mayor Bloomberg says it costs them more money than it's worth.
Yeah.
So they want to stop it and just throw everything together.
It's ridiculous. I think it's more of, like you said, the workers want more money to do it. Because recycling saves money.
Well,
it saves everything.
According to Bloomberg, it doesn't, because once you pay the salaries of the people, it doesn't, add up.
See, but that guy, he claims it cost him $300 to get rid of the metal. Well, Dick has a metal pile and people pay him $300 for it.
Yes, but that they load. We can put our metal on his pile. Actually, we can't put tin on it. But like some of this heavy metal we got rid of, they would take that. But the reason he makes money is they truck it all the way down to I think Bridgeport. It's okay my way. He just loads it on a big truck and they take it all the way to Bridgeport. Well, now, the cost of loading it and driving the truck to Bridgeport and the time of the man driving the truck, I would say would be at least $100.
Yes.
So he gets $300, but he's only paid $200. But the junk people down Bridgeport, they get a whole load of already sorted metal.
And they sell it to Japan.
To come back to us in the form of bombs. That was the Second World War, because all our scrap metal went to Japan.
Yes.
And speaking of evil, we talk about the evil Axis who make weapons of mass destruction.
We make them too.
Yeah, people haven't pointed out that the anthrax, they've traced it back to one of the Army production labs.
Wow.
Now what are we doing making it? We should set an example. Actually, I don't see how any army can prosper using anthrax because it doesn't respect uniforms.
Yes. What, how long were you in ancestors come over this country a long time ago or a short time ago?
No, I think quite a long time ago.
You're what, English? Irish?
Well, my grandfather, Chase, he goes back to England, I guess. And Chase Farm is still in operation in Rhode Island. That's where I grew up mostly, and I got most of my bad habits of saving things, of being thrifty, to the point of self-denial, and doing things that are now against the law, like burning papers in the open. And actually our trash pile, now we'll go over to the farm, our trash pile, a current land use officer would scream, holy terror. It's a breeding place for rats.
Yes.
And children can come and hurt themselves. It's what they call an attractive nuisance.
Yes.
Well, obviously no children should be down there.
That's right. They should respect private property signs. Because I was thinking about, a lot of people complain about the immigrants coming over here now.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they're the problem. It's that, well, I think, well, here's my question to you. Now American kids in a classroom are being slowed down because the teacher will give one lesson in English and then stop the class and give the lesson in Spanish. So the English kids aren't learning what they could be learning because the schools are being slowed down. Where my ancestors, my great-grandparents came over, and they had to learn in order to stay part of the society. And I don't think it's being too harsh saying if you come here you have to learn certain rules and standards that the country runs upon.
Well, I think the bright people, the bright immigrants do that.
Yes, they do.
In the office, I get illiterate patients. They don't even speak their own language. They get over here, say, with an IQ of 60, and they don't know Spanish or they don't know English. And then you get a group that maybe knows Spanish, but they do not have the ability to acquire new knowledge.
Yes.
But they're not a majority, that's just a few of them.
Because the part that scares me about that is that I think our country is falling apart. First of all, because we have troops all over the world, in the Middle East, South America, the Philippines. So we're more concerned about the outside world. And meanwhile, in our country, we have all these divisions, and it's almost like another civil uprising, that we should have 4 countries, the Southwest, the Northeast, and the Midwest, the breadbasket.
Yeah, well, we're working towards what they call globalization, and eventually, I guess there will be, because of the internet. There's so much. We could be here and call Australia with a cell phone.
Yes.
Okay, we still have firewood. Let's check Candido again. I guess he has gone away.
There's 5 cars there.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
We tried burning some of that wood, and it's average. It's a little smoky.
It is? It's not good. Let's throw it away. There's no... I think he's on vacation for this month. I see no sign of activity.
Should we go around or turn around?
I don't think we need to go around. Unless we want to get some of those Belgian blocks.
Dudley's around.
I should think so, with all the...
The gate was open.
Because he has nothing to say about it.
Hospirito never shows up, does he? You ever see him here?
No. Now the land use officer said she saw that from the road, but I doubt it.
She's lying.
Yeah.
They have a grudge against you.
Well, I don't have any grudge against them. She has her job to do. I don't. You want to get some of those? If you do it, go ahead.
That will do it a different day. Next time, you don't have all that stuff in the truck. Well, if we're here, did you want to take some that window out of the blue truck, or the dumpster?
Yeah, all right.
You see, this type of land use shouldn't be. This isn't anything that bad. People are just storing vehicles, and no one. It's the residential. There's no houses around to view it. They give you a hassle because no one has respect for anything anymore. Everyone sues everybody, even at the Olympics. You could have a sign that says, "No people allowed because dangerous nails may cut your foot." And a kid could walk right up to the sign, read it, and step on a nail on purpose, and then they'd sue you.
You see, in England, their law is if you sue somebody and the suit is thrown out as frivolous, you have to pay the court costs. Somebody could sue me for anything, and let's say I have to spend $2,000–3,000 to defend myself, and it's thrown out of court as frivolous. I still have to pay the expense.
Yeah.
So there's no break on frivolous suits. So where there's doubt, a lawyer will always. It's like rolling the jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll make a killing. In fact, I had one patient who was told he had slipped and broken his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
He was said, well, say you did it on Dr. Hubbard's front steps. Then you got a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Not on a...
Imagine
Okay,
that.
Sue, you gotta wait here. We're gonna paint.
Yeah.
These salvaging things, that would be worth doing, I should think.
Yeah, I decided that chair I'm gonna get rid of unless you want it.
No.
It's a little too rusty.
Oh, no, we better leave it. That's to get up on the body of that green truck,
Oh.
to step up. So let's take it and put it underneath it.
Okay.
I forgot what that was for. You can leave that in, just leave it in, we'll take it back with us. Where is the...
right. I'll stop and get those
Yep.
those metal pieces.
Okay, you want to help Sue?
Wait till the guy sees this coming to the dump. I think he was in a bad mood today.
Was he? I didn't think so.
Yeah, I guess he was.
What made you think he was in a bad mood?
Well, he didn't let us dump those plastics. Sort of just brushed them off.
Well, he was not informed enough. I don't see any sign of Dudley.
So all that's left, well, we have those sheet metal pieces, but Dick wants those. So we have that metal lounge chair, but that'll be, I can bend that up. And all the snow shovels could fit in Dick's dumpster once I cut the handles off.
I'd like to see if any of them could be salvaged.
Snow shovels?
Yeah, if for instance just the bottom part is bent, so take a hammer and straighten it out. Most of them are pretty no good.
The aluminum ones are halfway decent. The metal, they're all shot. How about that place that Randall goes, Novellas? They take stuff for free. Sometimes they give you money. Maybe we should just go there instead of the dump.
Well, we could give it a try.
See, first they had $10 a year. Now it's $10 every half year. Now they're going to change $10 a half year plus $20 a truckload.
Yeah, well, everything goes up. Now Bethel has got another school expense. They want to build a field house, and that's for sports.
Yes.
But the thing is that the parents who have a child in the public school want the public school to be as good as a private school. Well, the private school, I think Rumsey Hall, for instance, where David wants to send Molly, is $25,000.
Wow.
That's not cheap.
Well, that's who, your granddaughter?
Yeah, Molly. She's smart. She's going to the Montessori school now, and I think that's $10,000. And but instead of concentrating on teachers and quality of teacher, they tend to concentrate on plant and equipment.
That's right. We were in Coventry yesterday. We went to Sturbridge. We stopped at a friend's house.
Yeah.
We drove through Coventry and Windham, Connecticut, east of the river.
Yes.
Talk about a change in culture.
Yeah, and environment.
It was kind of run down.
Yeah.
our friends that moved there said there was a stabbing on the street the other day, so they want to move away.
Where was this, in Wyndham?
Yes.
Well, there was a stabbing in Danbury. A patient I had this morning, a policeman, he was on patrol and he saw this woman slumped in the street, and she'd been stabbed in the back by, I guess, another woman who resented her boyfriend. I think you read about that, didn't you?
I didn't hear about it, no.
So Wyndham doesn't excel in that area.
Now, how about the casino? What do you think about that?
Where, for Danbury?
Yeah. It'll attract a bad crowd.
Probably not. It would take business away from Atlantic City and from the Indian casinos.
Yes.
But everything tends to get overdone. For instance, in Danbury, they build office space, and then they build too much office space. So there are buildings that go vacant.
Yes.
And they start building condos, and then everyone builds condos. Now it's the same way with the casinos, that there's going to be too many of them built. He was no good at getting rid of them.
It's easy to collect. That guy, it's so funny. I wonder what he thinks of the two of us. Because he must wonder where an elderly gentleman like you has that big fan on his property.
No. Actually, that fan would be a good fan if you wanted to replace it.
Yes. Now, how about prayer? Is that, as a psychiatrist, are there benefits, positive energy?
Yeah, I think a large part of being well is thinking positively.
Yes.
And if you can think that if you pray, you will get help, that can relax you and make you feel better. Now, if you're religious, you can say it's God or Allah or whoever else, whatever other name they call him by, or you can say it's just meditation.
Yes.
And
that red car.
you know, but the thing is that it offers an out. I mean, suppose you're in what you feel is a hopeless situation,
Yes.
and there's nothing you can do. Well, you can always pray, and people will pray for you. It seems a little funny, though, when there's an airplane crash
Yes.
and someone says, "Thank God 10 people survived and only 200 were killed."
Yes.
And then you wonder why God would permit the accident to begin with, if he had that control.
Yes. So people sometimes underestimate nature, view it as God. law of nature.
Or chance. It's the same thing with the casinos. They take advantage of it, that it is chance, and the chance is rigged so that maybe 90% or 80% comes back to the gamblers and 20% stays with them. But the person gambling thinks that God will favor him and they will hit the jackpot.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts about gambling?
Well, did you know my grandfather was a bookie?
No? What was your grandfather's name?
William Michael. And so he made his livelihood off of gambling, of running
The book?
Yes.
Yeah, and at that time it was illegal.
Yes.
It strikes me as sort of funny that when the state goes into gambling, any form that they don't control is illegal.
Yes.
So
my views on it are, I don't gamble, and I think that if people want to risk their own money, it's okay for them to do that, but it's like an addiction. When people start getting carried away, they start hurting themselves. So where do you draw the line? A rational person would say, oh, I'll just, for fun, maybe once every 4 months, I'll bet a sport, or I'll go to the casino just for fun and spend $100. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose.
yeah, well that's the way Jeannie gambles. She gambles and she controls it, and it's a day's entertainment for her. And it impresses me how eagerly they seek what they call the comps. In other words, the gambling casino gives them comps, which is credit for meals or free days at the hotel.
Yeah.
And they love that. Dwayne and Lorna, for instance, they get a free room in the hotel down in Atlantic City for the weekend, and they go down. The hotel would have a vacancy otherwise, so they can afford to give away an empty room.
Yes.
But my objection to gambling is, if it's considered a recreation, just fun, being with the crowd, that's okay, but too many people get sucked into it, and usually it's the people who can't afford it.
Yes. And then you have to treat them.
Yeah.
You've seen all the negative sides.
That's why I have Compulsive Gamblers Treatment Center. Now we'll go up over the curve here again, in compulsive curve.
There's a lot of dead skunks around.
Really?
Yes.
Well, maybe they're getting rabies.
Where do
you? Oh, just hit by. Well, that's it. They're out. To wake up. That must be the hole you put the rocks in.
I'll have to put some more rocks in it.
Well, if I can get Dick, I'll get him to get the backhoe and straighten this whole road out.
I'll have to do something about those wheel ruts. Got rid of a lot of mass.
Yeah.
So if there's any heavy stuff, we'll know to get rid of it soon. dog had fun.
So Gene will probably be worried where were we and so on. But that's okay. Well, we'll keep in the back, you know, making those piles.
Yes.
But we try to keep them as neat as we can so we don't get a complaint.
Yes.
Do you think there'd be any use for these bowling balls?
Well, I have no use for them. Usually when people go bowling, they just use the balls there.
No, they have to have their individual. See, these have nice carrying cases.
We'll have to bring him to a bowling place and see it, or maybe just get rid of them at the Salvation Army.
Okay.
Because it's...
And the next thing is, I want to take a waste. We had a gray waste basket here.
Uh-huh.
I want to put in the pool room. There's a whole lot of baseball bats.
Okay.
Okay, I'll see you.
Yes, we talked about the anti-Masonic movement because in New York during the 1820s, the government was ruled by the Masons. Someone was murdered, and it got thrown. You going here?
Yep, we go by.
Got thrown out in the court. Got acquitted because the judge and the juries were all Masons, and the convict was a Mason, and the state legislature were all Masons, so the anti-Masonic group formed to try to get the Masons out of power. The Masons are still around today, right?
Oh yeah. And they have a nursing home someplace in Connecticut.
They have the secret handshake.
Yeah, they have.
Were you a member?
No, never. My father was, though, I remember. Dick's getting 2 horses.
Oh. Wow, look at all that wood. There's box.
I think we better just go.
You want to talk to you?
No, let's see if the horses are in there. They are.
I see one. What kind of horse is that?
They're draft horses. Big. See how big that one is?
Yes.
Sure.
And there's the little cow.
Yeah, there's supposed to be 2 of those big horses.
Is that the... I think that horse was Botch's. That's been here.
Oh.
I don't think the other horses are here yet.
All right. Well, let's back up and we'll talk to Botch.
Okay.
See, this is a horse transporter.
Yes. Maybe they're in the barn. That barn there. I wonder if we can squeeze in that garbage.
Yeah, I think so.
It's only a small thing.
Yeah. I'll ask him. Yeah. And then I have to push up by habit.
Oh. So are we going straight to
No,
the
I'm
Goodwill, or are we
I'm
going to
gonna
stop
get-
at the carport?
I'm going to get this carport. I'm going to get more stuff.
Well, this weather is a treat.
Isn't it nice?
So what were we talking about on Saturday that was interesting? I wanted more information. Everything we talked about. Oh, the dump.
The what?
The dump, they're gonna, with the metal that they're charging.
Oh, they're revamping. You know, there's Dick's metal pile. We can put stuff in there.
Okay. Did I tell you I saw Gert Pulaski
No, where was she?
at the
At
Pope John Paul?
Yeah. Who you visited?
My dad and I were playing music,
Oh, that's nice.
and the lady said that she never comes out of her room unless it's a rare occasion because we were there.
Mm-hmm. And she did come out.
Yes.
Most of the time she reads.
Mm-hmm.
And she seems to be happy as a clam.
So what do you know about obsessively shy people? You try to help them?
Well, you try to help everybody if you can.
You see, okay?
Stay here.
All right. You want me to drive it up?
No, I'm going to get some stuff from inside.
Oh, okay. I don't understand where it all comes from.
What was the purpose of teaching about the Masons?
To show how the anti-Mason group rose out of New York, and there was a lot of political debate.
But you say the jury just voted against them or for them.
Yes.
Which was it?
Well, they acquitted the case. The murderer was a Mason,
Yeah.
and they let him get away with it. But
Yeah.
that's what started the controversy.
See, when I was in the Army, there was one of the soldiers had what we call walking pneumonia,
Uh-huh.
and he became delirious.
Mm-hmm.
And he got out of his bed and he pushed the attendants to the floor, ran down the stairs, and ran right through a door.
Uh-huh.
And he was found. Now we're going down the next place. We're going down to Goodwill.
Yes.
So we'll turn right.
So you found him?
Well, anyway, the military police had him. Four soldiers and a lieutenant with pistols and everything, like
Yes.
they're ready to shoot him. And I was the captain, so I ranked and I said to the lieutenant, disarm the men. And he barked out orders, bip, bip, huck, huck. And they took their guns and took the clips out.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got him in his room, and the nurse brought a big syringe of sedative, and I shot him in the buttock. And as soon as I shot him, he relaxed
Yes.
and like he was going to go to sleep. And I know the medicine didn't work that quickly. He just wanted to get out of a very bad situation.
Yes.
But anyway, later on when he recovered, they held a trial, and the officers in the military court were all Southern gentlemen. And I gave testimony that he really was ill and delirious.
Was the guy white or black?
He was black, and of course they just found him guilty. 6 months hard labor.
Wow.
And when the court was over, he said to me, "Thanks for trying, Doc." I remember that.
Jeez.
But that's one of the reasons they object to military courts now for the Taliban,
Yes.
even though they probably don't deserve any better.
So you were a fighter for liberty.
Well,
Within
I
the
was a
system.
conscientious objector, but I didn't mind, serving in the medical corps. If you look at wars, you see how silly they are for instance, we funded Osama bin Laden and the Taliban years ago, and we armed them. Now we're against them, and you don't know what the future will bring.
More war.
One man's
Junk
is another man's treasure, and vice versa.
farm.
No, we'll go back to the pond.
Okay. See, that woman was an outspoken gal.
What did she say?
She'd be more, she wouldn't accept some of that stuff. Like that box of metal. She was a forceful person. She'd be like that guy, remember? He told us they wouldn't take anything.
Well, they actually have now, because people complain about things being rejected, the headquarters wants to know if anyone had something rejected. So their policy now is to take the junk, get rid of it, and not alienate someone. Of course, if you bring in a lot of big stuff.
Yeah. So how do you treat excessively shy people?
Well, how would an excessively shy person be overt?
Well,
If everyone notices they're shy?
yes. And they don't even hardly say one word.
Well, you have to get what's blocking them. For instance, I had a patient who couldn't urinate in public, in a restroom.
Yeah.
And he couldn't, even in a restaurant or any place except home. And he suffered a lot because he had to hold his urine. And going into his history, it turned out that when he was like in the 5th grade, there were bullies who would wait in the bathroom and molest him and comment on how small his genitalia were and humiliate him. And that sort of
Put a mark on it.
yeah, it made a fixation, and the treatment was to realize he was now like an adult male who was perfectly able to fight with anyone and defend himself.
Yeah.
And then you have to have him try going to the bathroom with a trusted person.
Yes.
And after a while, the whole thing fell away. You didn't need to keep that inhibition.
Yes.
But there are lots of reasons for being shy, and you have to find out.
Cause. Here's our wheel ruts.
Yeah. Did we fix that animal shelter up there?
Yes. We got rid of that one board. Wow. Yeah. Switched to the smaller one so it can't be seen from the house. Oh, there's your marker.
Yeah.
You want me to get the gate?
I get it.
They put those flags all over.
I guess they found a stake down here, an iron pipe.
So that divides your property from Dick's. Oh, there's a spike right there. I see it.
Back up just a little. Yep.
There it is.
Amazing.
So Chase Farm, the name Chase was your mother's family?
Maiden name, yeah.
And your father was, what, a doctor also, or a farmer?
No, he was an architect, an engineer. He married my mother, who was the farm girl from Chase Farm. And they at first lived in New York City, and she couldn't stand it. She lived on here, well, it's a great big, a very long road in Brooklyn that everyone knows. But she couldn't stand it, so Dad bought the place out in Greenwich.
There's Dick.
Yeah. Well, let's go by them.
Tell him that we have stuff, good stuff for him.
No good. Really,
He'll probably get mad.
You look good right next to that nigger.
no, you gotta be,
Hey.
remember, politically correct.
Want to stop at my house? I'll unload that chair.
Okay.
Or do you want to go to the Red House? Or wait, we're going to the Goodwill again.
Yeah.
Okay.
We want to get rid of this and then go to the farm.
Alright, we'll go to the Goodwill now then. And on the way back from the farm, could we drop the snowblower off?
Oh,
my
sure,
house?
yeah.
And I want to show you what I did to a chair. I restored a chair.
Oh, that's good.
I painted it.
When the weather's nice, we can begin doing more painting.
Yes. Well, how'd you get along with your mother-in-law so close? Angie?
Oh, fine.
Some people don't get along with the in-laws.
Well,
You probably had patience like that.
oh yeah, you have to recognize everyone has one life, and they're entitled to live it differently, different as they see it.
Yes.
So if one person wants to spend his life learning how to golf and be an expert golfer, and another one reads books, you know, there's all different ways, and no one's really better than the other, and you have to treat each person with respect.
Yes.
Angie was a great mother-in-law. She didn't approve of my being an agnostic, but her only way of saying it was, I do wish you could have faith. And she was what I call a good Catholic, because I didn't hear her say anything bad about anybody.
Yes.
You know, if she had bad feelings, she didn't express them.
Yes.
See, the trouble with President Bush is good versus evil.
Yes.
It's too simplistic. It lends it to the idea that a person is all evil or all good.
Yes.
And it's not so. We're a combination of both.
That's right.
I just got a book out on the Taliban, which I'll read tonight, and they their study of their Quran led them to do what they did because they felt that was the
Yes.
good. In other words, in the Muslim religion, the women have always been kept down. And that's one reason the Middle Eastern countries will not succeed, because they deny half of their population from contributing,
Yes.
keeping them in cloaks and everything.
Now, the women used to be free, but then the Taliban took over, and how did they allow that to happen?
Well,
What happened to all the husbands?
well, I guess the poor husbands went along or they got killed.
R.C. Hubbard to the rescue.
I tell you, those paramedics, at least the ones that came, how we're going to go to the farm, that came to the house were really well trained.
Yes.
And I think that's an excellent service. That's taking the place of the doctor's house call.
Was Eddie Brewy there?
Yes. What does he do? Is he a paramedic or a fireman?
I think he's both. EMT.
Yeah.
So now that woman will like us more because we talk to her.
Yes,
She'll be less likely to say, "Get that junk out of here."
you're correct. That's called laying pipe. If you see someone and you want to establish a good relationship with them, just show an interest in them. And I showed an interest in her painting,
Yes.
and I learned something. I didn't particularly like the painting, you know, the clay around the frames.
Yes.
The one she was doing that was all one color
Yes.
didn't seem very artistic to me, but maybe when it's baked and maybe she puts more stuff on it. But I didn't know there was that place on Library Place where artists displayed their wares. And she said she had her own business.
She must do independent artwork.
We'll probably have to just hang around here until 4:30.
And of course they'll be late.
Hope not.
Everybody, most people are late. It bothers me. That's why when I say to somebody I'll be there at whatever time, I try to get there.
President Clinton was practically always late, even for high-level meetings. And I think part of it was because he really wasn't organized
Yes.
as to what he wanted to do.
You think Hillary will be president?
I think she has a good chance. See, in general, we need a mediocre president. Hey, close the gate.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's just park here a little.
Want to go in?
No, I think I want to look over and see how the ditch is. I wish we had a leash for Susie, but we don't. So Susie, you have to stay.
You guard the bottle. Were these stumps like this the last time?
I think so.
Wow. So where did you meet this guy with the backhoe?
In the front, but we'll do our survey of the property first.
There's some garbage.
We're talking about this?
Yeah. Wow, what was that noise?
I don't know.
I didn't run over it.
You never know. What I want them to do with the backhoe is to wreck this truck.
Oh. We'll probably do that.
Now let's clean up this stuff
Okay.
right here.
Is that up far enough?
Yep.
That was a success.
I'm disappointed though. I thought he'd start tomorrow.
It's a massive operation here.
Yeah, it is.
So let's see. That is Rita's son.
No. He's married to Rita's daughter,
Oh, that's right.
Karen.
Which is Jeannie's sister's daughter.
Correct. You're getting the genealogy.
I wonder if they're coming this way. They'll probably turn around. This is rough. That's a big truck.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's okay, Sue.
Dogs need a seatbelt.
Yep. Are they following us? No, they went the other way.
That was smart of them. Maybe we shouldn't go this way anymore. It might be bad for the tires.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
It's probably best to stick to one road.
Okay. So I don't know what we're going to do about... Well, actually, you know what we could do? We can pile all this metal in Dick's metal pile.
Yes.
They beat us out. So the other thing about the anti-Masons is that they were Protestants, devout Protestants, and the Masons were Universalists,
We're close to getting.
Unitarians.
Oh. They were original stock, I guess, weren't
The anti-Masons?
Yeah.
Yes.
they? The origin of religion is from it's our Father in heaven.
Yes.
When we're children, our Father takes care of us. And that's our primal experience. And then as you go through life, there's certain questions that really can't be answered. They're unanswerable, unknown. And instead of worrying about them, they finally settle and say, God made the earth in 7 days. That's the Christian interpretation. I don't know what the Muslims say, but it's to allay anxiety. Everyone can agree God did it or God said it, and that's all. You don't question it. You don't think about it. You don't have to. Now, for instance, you go to church, And you shouldn't sneer at the church, because the church is a force for good.
Yes.
And you can help make it that. Also, you owe respect to your parents.
Yes.
Are they religious?
Yes.
Yeah, well, you owe respect to that. As you would to, say, other religions,
That's
to
right.
Muslim or Jewish. Have you seen the pictures in the paper of the 2 million people in Mecca?
I saw it on the news.
Can you imagine that? 2 million. I think that's a very strong religion.
It is. It's one of the most. They're the most devout people. No other religion will blow themselves up for what they believe.
Oh, that is not a part of the religion, in my opinion. That's the fanatics.
Yes. But their fanatics are a lot more fanatical, it seems.
Yes. But they're brainwashed that if they do blow themselves up, they go straight to heaven, and they have
They go around, okay? So I can drop it off at my house.
they have a beautiful existence, and I remember suicide is the 11th or 10th most common cause of death.
Wow.
A lot of people give up. They say they might just as well be dead. Suicide's common among teenagers.
Yes. Seems to be one of the most common times. It's under teenagers. I wonder if the table's sold already. I'll have to check with my dad. There's a band practice here. Let me unload this stuff. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Yep, take your time. Susie and I'll watch the truck.
I can't believe Andrew Jackson is on the $20 bill after he was opposed to the bank. Did you hear about that?
No.
Andrew Jackson was pro-slavery, anti-bank, and anti-Indian. He's on the $20 bill.
Wasn't he called Stonewall Jackson?
That was a different one. That was Old Hickory. And Stonewall was in the Civil War.
Nothing. This looks new as dirt.
It does. Maybe Wednesday we could drive over to Mr. Benelati's. Well, actually,
Yeah, we'll see how the time is.
yeah, because actually I'm probably going to go visit him on Wednesday. Cal Dow and I.
You got Cal Dow's letter to the editor?
Yes. He's been to Pakistan, India. You've been there too.
Yes. It makes a big difference in your outlook on life if you've traveled. That's one of the failings of President Bush, that he's relatively an ignorant man.
He is. I think Bush is...
Because when he was your age, he didn't pay much attention to school, and he just drank and sang and danced.
Well,
Dudley's not in.
he's been missing for a few days since we've been here. Now, why is it, as a psychiatrist, that kids, they walk into a room and there's a castle made out of cards or Legos, they smash it?
Well, not all kids do that, but a lot of hostility that the child has towards his parents, towards his father, is sort of taken out on the community. For instance, when kids go out and smash the street lights, oftentimes they have a lot of unresolved rage at home. Maybe they have a fairly brutal father, or whose truck is this?
That's a new truck. Paspolito.
Is that the name? Oh, he must be the
No, this is a junk truck. The engine, the bottom's all ripped out.
Okay, we don't need to. I think everything's...
You want to check the truck?
Yep.
Yes.
So what was your noon class?
Civil War history. We talked about John Calhoun, Henry Clay.
Okay, my side.
There's a split in the Democratic Party. Did you hear about it?
Yes.
The new Democrats against the old Democrats.
Yeah. Chad McCollum wrote to Jean and asked for her vote.
Yes.
She's going to vote row B.
Row B?
Yeah, that's the new Democrat. Row A is the old Democrat. Isn't it? Or row
Yes.
Yeah.
She has friends on row B
Yeah.
because row B wants even higher taxes from row A.
It doesn't matter.
Actually, if row B wins, the old Democrats might join the BAC.
It's a losing battle because everybody finds it easy to spend other people's money. Now, for instance, the group that are lobbying against the power line,
Yes.
the town printed a whole flyer. Did you get it?
No.
Well, a flyer that had all the